Here are 10 disturbing details from the Arkham series. A lot of people that watch aren't subscribed, so please do that if you can. I'm trying to hit 150k this year, but other than that, let's go ahead and start with the first one here. Harvey Dent in the Arkhamverse has been one of the most depressing characters that's been highlighted really well in Batman Arkham Shadow. Harvey has a lot of psychological issues that ultimately turned him into Two-Face, between the justice system not working for him, the corruption of Gotham attacking him, and him feeling betrayed by the people he trusted the most. But despite it all, Harvey prior to the incident really tried to help Gotham and its innocence. In the game, it's revealed that Harvey's father abused him growing up, and that it traumatized Harvey. We can see scenes of him hiding away from his father, and Harvey himself lashing out at him when he grew older. I say that for context because in the game, there's audio files between Crane and Harvey. The audio tapes reveal a case Harvey is working on where a father in Gotham did unspeakable things to his kid. Listen to the audio tape where Harvey describes it.
That was certainly a novel approach to cross-examination. I know, Doc. I lost it. You should have seen the police photos. This bastard didn't just beat his kid, he starved him. Kept him locked in a closet for 6 months. 8 years old. Fighting with the rats over scraps of food. When the cops finally freed him, his kidneys had failed and his heart was scarred by infection. My goodness, harrowing stuff. And his dad has the nerve to take the stand and tell the court his kid deserved it. Piece of shit's lucky I only took a couple of swings at him. Besides, I might have just torched my whole career.
Oh, I doubt that. You're a hero in the papers. Two-fisted DA decks deadbeat dad. The public's behind you on this.
My own dad's to blame for my short fuse. But I can't lose my temper like that again.
Your father. I'd like to hear more about him.
The father beat his kid and locked him in a closet for half a year, starving him, and the father on the stand told him the kid deserved it. It's insanely dark, and the way Harvey reacted, you do see the good in him here. Things like this made Harvey really want to hurt the father, and it's sad to see because 1, this isn't an uncommon thing in Gotham, unfortunately, but 2, Harvey's anger could have been channeled into something good. It could have been like a Batman situation where he uses that anger to help the city. But because of what happens to him, how he feels betrayed, how justice doesn't seem to be served for people like that deadbeat father, how his face got scarred, it turned him into what he is. It's sad to see for Harvey, but the story of the father beating down on the kid is disturbing here, as in reality, stuff like that is unfortunately present. This next detail is pretty well known in Arkham Knight, but I still wanted to include it here and add my perspective since it is a disturbing detail. In Arkham Knight under Founders Island, you can find this little setup area for Solomon Grundy. The tune here is really creepy, check it out in its entirety.
Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, christened on Tuesday, married on Wednesday, took you on Thursday, grew with on Friday, died on Saturday, buried on Sunday. That was the end of Solomon Grundy.
Scanning this place reveals a story about someone who had an unfortunate encounter with Solomon Grundy. However, the really creepy part here I want to discuss is the setup here. Candles around with a poster of Grundy with a record player with a little girl singing the Solomon Grundy tune. Who set this up? Why is it hidden? With the candles in almost proper care placed here, it makes you think that people might worship Solomon Grundy as some sort of leader to them, maybe even a god. Perhaps there's a cult around this guy. Considering he's been around for far too long, it would make sense. It's all speculation, obviously, but the lack of information here on why this is set up is what's interesting, as you can try and fill in the blanks yourself. It's pretty eerie when you think about it like that. The Joker, the clown prince of crime, is not shy of committing some of the most heinous crimes. Some of the more downright awful, more specific ones, though, are hidden between the lines in the Arkham games, some of which involve cannibalism, animal cruelty, and doing this to firefighters as well. In Batman Arkham VR, it lists the crimes Joker has done, with the list going on, but eventually it does mention cannibalism.
Desecration of a corpse, improper disposition of a body, improper labeling of meat products, cannibalism, homicide, regicide, attempted homicide, littering.
My only regret is I didn't do more.
So Joker has eaten people in the Arkhamverse, which is crazy. The Joker is a lot of things, but him straight up eating a person, not unheard of for the character, I guess, but still, it's a very specific and disturbing detail in the Arkham games to say the least. And also, check out what he emits in Arkham Knight when he's in your head.
Oh, you're not really going to save those firefighters, are you? I mean, they're fine rescuing cats out of trees, but staple one to a wall and they haven't got a clue. One thing you can say about these firefighters, Batsy, they've got balls. Oh, unless you superglue razor blades to the sliding pole.
It's not surprising to hear Joker commit some of these crimes, but nonetheless, it's still not pleasant to hear about them. It's animal cruelty, it's putting spikes for firefighters to get killed by. It's easy to say how evil Joker is, but breaking it down to these specific crimes is pretty insane to say the least, and Rocksteady hides these darker acts of violence really well into these games to show how evil and sadistic the Joker can truly be. Calendar Man. I always include one of his stories here because all of them are really sadistic. On St. Patrick's Day, however, he explains to Batman what he did to his old gang after one of his members tipped him off. Take a listen.
March 17th, the day set aside for St. Patrick, the holy man who drove the snakes from Ireland. Interesting thing about snake venom, Batman. Some are green, just like the dye used to make green beer. That made it all the easier when I hosted that St. Patty's Day party for my old gang. As you remember, one of my henchmen tried to tip you off. I wasn't sure which one had done it, so I decided to punish them all. One dose of green mamba venom into the beer keg, and they were soon rotting under the shamrocks. So I guess that makes you responsible for their deaths, too. I'll drink to that.
What I like about this conversation is how he tries to get under Batman's skin in that he tries to make Batman feel bad for his gang dying. But what I do find sadistic is how all of Calendar Man's gang members paid the price for one guy talking. Shows how evil he can be, and how he will set an example to anyone on any specific holiday. And using green mamba venom into beer kegs seems like such a horrendous way to go. It also just shows how crafty and scary this guy can be, which is why he's inside a prison cell that's already in a prison cell in itself. Calendar Man is definitely one of the more darker spots of the Arkham universe. So something eerie about Jonathan Crane, more so is highlighted in Arkham Shadow, and it's that he's a big factor into some of Batman's villains becoming villains. He aids them into that path. We listened to the dialogue audio tape with Harvey earlier on how he kind of guided Harvey into going down a darker path, but I want to discuss him and the ventriloquist here, Arnold Wesker. So Arnold Wesker was clearly going through a psychotic phase, so to speak, where he thinks the dummy is talking to him and telling him what to do. Harley in the game actually tries to help Arnold with his issues. However, as we saw in the game, Crane takes Arnold and experiments on him, but also in the audio tapes showcases how Crane basically told Arnold that what he's doing is okay and he tries to unleash it. Check out some of the audio tape here.
Clearly, there's a part of you that craves violence. You keep it hidden. In psychology, we call this the shadow. And yours seems to be very dark indeed.
Like this bunny, you mean? I can also do a dog.
Put your hands down, Arnold. It's just a metaphor. Now, a favorable evaluation might be in the cards if you can do a little something for me. I'm recruiting volunteers to assist with the new treatment I'm testing. A compound that draws the shadow out, brings it to the surface so it can be confronted.
Yes. Of course, Doctor. Anything you say.
Very good, Arnold. I'll have the guards escort you to my lab this evening.
Arnold Wesker could have been a character that could have actually been rehabilitated here at Blackgate. However, because of Crane's influence in using Wesker's shadow against him, Arnold became the supervillain that we know. It's disturbing to me because this isn't the first instance of Crane turning someone into a villain in this game. It also shows just how crappy of a place Gotham really is. They create their own villains. Crane brought a loaded weapon into a school and didn't get punished. He became in charge at Blackgate after, and he was easily able to take people away and experiment on them. It's insane stuff. It shows the more sinister side of Crane, but it's more so disturbing how someone like Wesker could have been rehabilitated had it not been for Crane's actions. During Batman Arkham Knight, the militia all over the city will have conversations. Some funny, some normal, and then some eerie ones. There's one in particular I wanted to take a look at that explores one of the militia guys who experienced Scarecrow's fear gas. Take a listen.
Are you okay, man? Yeah, I'm okay. You sure? Yeah, it's just, earlier, for like an instant, like half a second, I think I breathed in a tiny bit of Scarecrow's gas. Jesus, what happened? Nothing at first, but I keep hearing them. Who? There was some prisoners back when I was in the army. They'd killed like 10 of our guys, so we gave them what they deserved. Good. I know, right? But since I let the gas in, it's like they're right behind me, still screaming. And what, man? And I think they want to hurt me.
It's a pretty eerie conversation. Scarecrow's fear gas, as we all know, makes you see your worst fears, with other side effects too. However, this guy has nightmares about the prisoners he killed. In a way, he may think those prisoners got what they deserved, but he may still feel a type of way about it. Perhaps guilt, shame, and the gas amplifies those feelings and makes him feel like it's haunting him. It's really interesting because when we see Crane's gas affect someone, it's usually a dramatic sequence with like Batman or some story related thing, right? To hear it affect just a relatively unimportant person and show their perspective, it's interesting. And how he ended his story here is really disturbing, all things considered. And although I can't speak on it from personal experience, there's people all over the world in real life that have gone through really traumatic experiences, maybe similar to this guy's conversation, who knows? Disturbing, to say the least. Francine Langstrom, Kirk's wife, became She-Bat. This detail I feel like is well known, but still, I want to add my perspective. So during the Man-Bat side mission in Arkham Knight, you find out that Kirk unintentionally killed his wife during his transformation into Man-Bat. You can find her presumably dead body inside the lab. However, if you come back here after completing the mission, you will actually find that her body is missing with "Forever My Love" written here on the broken glass in blood, seemingly. In the comics, Kirk's wife becomes She-Bat, her own version of a humanoid bat creature. Now, with this writing here, it could be assumed that she has some sort of intelligence, right? Man-Bat, as we saw in the game, didn't seem to have any kind of intelligence and was mainly just kind of a mindless monster. The fact that Kirk's wife was able to write this here shows that she may be smarter. And it does not stop there. Kirk also transforms back into Man-Bat and escapes after the side mission. If you play this game on Halloween, you'll get another jump scare of Man-Bat even after completing the side mission. If you go back to GCPD, you'll find a broken glass with new dialogue between Batman and Aaron Cash discussing it.
Looks like we might need thicker glass next time.
I was afraid this would happen.
Cash got off a couple rounds, but it was too quick. No way we're gonna stop that thing. Happy Halloween, huh? Between you and me, I think after all of this is over, I'm gonna take some time off, reevaluate.
It gets you thinking, right? Did She-Bat somehow re-trigger Kirk's transformation, or did he do it on his own? Now there's two giant bats in Gotham. What are their plans? What are they trying to do? The thing is, neither Kirk or his wife are inherently evil people. As Man-Bat, Kirk was just a giant bat, honestly kind of minding his own business. He never attacked anybody as far as we know. Who's to say that Kirk's wife isn't benevolent? Maybe they just come to work with each other to find a more stable cure than what Batman gave Kirk? Or maybe they do go rogue and start attacking Gotham. Who knows? The questions can be endless here. Maybe an Arkham game in the future could elaborate on this. It would be really interesting. The story of Amadeus Arkham is pretty extensive, but let me summarize it for you so you have context for this detail. So Amadeus Arkham is the founder of Arkham Asylum. He treated his first patient there, who was named Martin Mad Dog Hawkins. But Mad Dog ended up killing Amadeus' wife, Constance, as well as his daughter. Amadeus then lost all grip on his sanity and he was admitted into his own institution. Now fast travel to around the time of Batman Arkham Asylum. The grave of Amadeus can be seen as if it was dug up. Quincy Sharp then enters the picture. Quincy Sharp ends up finding a series of hidden writings Amadeus has had before his committal. Now, Quincy Sharp in the Arkham series is known to have schizophrenia. He's kind of crazy and messed up in the head. So Quincy ends up becoming obsessed with Amadeus Arkham's story, and he becomes convinced that the ghost of Amadeus has risen from the grave, talking to him, and also drove him to secretly stalk and kill his patients. There's a whole Chronicles of Arkham mission in Arkham Asylum where you hear Quincy Sharp talk as if he's Amadeus Arkham. He believes he himself is Amadeus reincarnated. The Chronicles talk about a lot of things, from Amadeus' family deaths to Mad Dog killing his wife and kid, dark crazy stuff. First and foremost, all of this is disturbing, but it goes to show that Quincy Sharp in the Arkhamverse is easily influenced. He believes in higher powers and that they tell him what to do, not just with Amadeus, but Hugo Strange also controlled him, and Quincy ultimately thought a ghost of Hugo was talking to him in his final days, which resulted in him hanging himself. I've discussed that last part in detail before, but his insane roots date back all the way to the first game, Arkham Asylum, how he believes he is a reincarnation of Amadeus, and how he respected him. Quincy Sharp was a puppet for not just others, but also himself. The entire series, pretty much. It's crazy to see. The story of Amadeus is disturbing, but Quincy Sharp carrying that in his own sick, twisted way is even more disturbing to me. James Gordon Jr. He is the son of James Gordon, obviously. Now, in the comics, James Gordon Jr. is an insane serial killer. Straight psychopath that Batgirl had to stop. He's a complete opposite of his father. Now, for the longest time in the Arkham games, we never got a reference or anything to James Gordon Jr. That is until Arkham Shadow. So in Batman Arkham Shadow, when you first meet Gordon and Harvey, if you look around the room, you can spot a picture of Gordon's family. And in the picture, you can see his son right there, James Gordon Jr. Now, throughout all the Arkham games, he's never mentioned, and Gordon mentions in Arkham Knight how Barbara is all he has left, which implies that either James Gordon Jr. is dead or locked up, and I'm presumably thinking it's the latter. And another eerie detail here is that we see Gordon's wife in the picture. Gordon Arkham Knight, as I said that Barbara is all that he has left, which makes me assume that his wife is also dead. What if James Gordon Jr. killed her, right? There's a lot of possibilities, but the looming thought of Gordon's son being out there and ready to strike wherever he can be really disturbing. And who knows, we may see him in a future Arkham game to know more one day. Andrea Beaumont, one of Bruce Wayne's earliest love interests, gets a bit more of an interesting lore dump in the Arkhamverse. So Andrea Beaumont, for those that don't know, is a character from the Batman Mask of the Phantasm movie. Bruce met her early on in his life and fell in love with her, but because her father was tied up with the Vilestra mob, she and her father left Gotham unexpectedly. However, her father ends up being murdered by a member of the mob, which in turn has Andrea return to Gotham as the Phantasm, extracting revenge for her father by killing members of the mob. In the Arkhamverse, in Batman Arkham Origins, we get letters from her in the Batcave that mentions that she is looking for her father that she thinks is in Europe. These letters show us that she is yet to be the Phantasm and that she keeps in touch with Bruce. In the movie, after she left Gotham, she never contacted Bruce between leaving and becoming the Phantasm. Not until she comes back as the Phantasm is when she contacts Bruce again. Here in the Arkhamverse though, it seems she's still communicating with him in that time frame. However, she could be lying in these letters to hide the fact that her father did die, and that she will soon return to Gotham as the Phantasm. Now with that said, in Batman Arkham Shadow, the story continues. Check out this voicemail she leaves Bruce.
Hi Bruce, it's Andrea. I was going to send you another postcard, but would you believe that the museum here ran out? Besides, I'm pretty sure Alfred's the only one who reads them. I saw a painting today, Le Char de l'Amour by Schuller. It's a bunch of people being carried off by the Angel of Death. They're all looking around, but she's staring straight at the viewer, looking at you like she can see every sin you've ever committed. I don't know. For some reason, it reminded me of you. Stay safe, Bruce. I hear Gotham's more dangerous than ever right now. You know how to find me.
Now, this voicemail is very much alluding to her phantasm alter ego. She talks about the painting of the Angel of Death, which can be interpreted as her as the phantasm murdering the people who killed her father. She also mentions that Gotham is more dangerous now than ever, showing that she still keeps tabs on the city in a way. To me, it seems that it's closer than ever where she returns to Gotham as a phantasm and she plans to extract revenge on the people that killed her father. One of the very happy spots of Bruce Wayne's life is about to turn on him very soon, and knowing that can be eerie in a way. Andrea may be a good person to Bruce, but she'll soon become an enemy to Batman. Who knows, maybe we'll see this in a game in the future one day. It would be really interesting. But those are 10 disturbing details in the Arkham games. Let me know which ones were your favorite, which ones you didn't like. But as always, like, comment, sub, appreciate all of that. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe and peace.